Let us explore and go up close and get to know more about the various historical displays at the Clark Air Base Aircraft Park. The F-5 is a family of supersonic light fighter aircraft initially designed as a privately funded project in the late 1950s by Northrop Corporation. There are two main models, the original F-5A and F-5B Freedom Fighter variants and the extensively updated F-5E and F-5F Tiger II variants. The design team wrapped a small, highly aerodynamic fighter around two compact and high-thrust General Electric J-85 engines, focusing on performance and a low cost of maintenance. The F-5A entered service in the early 1960s. During the Cold War, over 800 were produced through 1972 for U.S. allies. Though primarily designed for a day air superiority role, the aircraft is also a capable ground attack platform. Smaller and simpler than contemporaries, the F-5 cost less to procure and operate, making it a popular export aircraft. It has served in a wide array of roles, being able to perform both air and ground attack duties. The type was used extensively in the Vietnam War. From this tour, they formed a team goal of reversing the trend in fighter development towards greater size and weight in order to deliver an aircraft with high performance, enhanced maneuverability, and high reliability, while still delivering a cost advantage over contemporary fighters. Recognizing that expensive jet aircraft could not viably be replaced every few years, they also demanded engineered growth potential, allowing service longevity in excess of 10 years. The design began to firm up in 1955 with the introduction of the General Electric J-85 turbojet engine. The J-85 had a thrust-to-weight ratio of 6.25 to 7.5 depending on the version, giving it a notable advantage over contemporaries such as the 4.7 ratio of the J-79 engine used in the F-4 Phantom. The first contract for the production F-5A was issued in 1962, the first overseas order coming from the Royal Norwegian Air Force on February of 1964. Specifications: wingspan, 25 feet 3 inches, length, 47 feet 2 inches, height, 13 feet 2 inches, engines, 2, General Electric J-85 GE 13 turbojets, rated at 2,720 pounds of dry thrust, 4,080 pounds, with afterburner, maximum speed, Mach 1.4 or 1,728 km per hour at 36,000 feet, service ceiling, 50,500 feet, range, 2,232 km, with maximum fuel, combat radius with maximum payload, 314 km, combat radius with maximum fuel and 2 500-pound bombs, 898 km. Armament, guns, 2 20mm M39A2 revolver cannon in the nose, 280 rounds per gun, rockets, 2 LAU-68 or LAU-10 rocket pods, missiles, 2 AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missile on wingtips, bombs, a variety of air-to-ground ordnance such as the Mark 80 series of unguided bombs, cluster bomb munitions and napalm bomb canisters. The Philippine Air Force acquired 37 F-5A and F-5B from 1965 to 1998. The F-5s were used by the 6th Tactical Fighter Squadron, Cobras, of the 5th Fighter Wing and the Blue Diamonds Aerobatic Team. The F-5s also underwent an upgrade which equipped it with surplus and APQ-153 radars with significant overhaul at the end of the 1970s to stretch its service life another 15 years. In 1989, the Air Force received 3 ex-Taiwanese F-5A and 1 F-5B. In the 1990s, at least 8 ex-South Korean F-5A and 2 Jordanian F-5A were acquired. The Philippines decommissioned its F-5 fleet in 2005. The Lockheed T-33 Shooting Star is an American subsonic jet trainer. It was produced by Lockheed and made its first flight in 1948. The last operator of the T-33, the Bolivian Air Force, retired the type in July 2017, after 44 years of service. The T-33 was developed from the Lockheed F-80 by lengthening the fuselage by slightly more than 3 feet and adding a second seat, instrumentation, and flight controls. The two-place T-33 jet was designed for training pilots already qualified to fly propeller-driven aircraft. Specifications: crew, 2, length, 37 feet 9 inches, wingspan, 38 feet 10.5 inches, height, 11 feet 8 inches, powerplant, 1 times Allison J-33, 35 centrifugal flow turbojet engine with 4,600 pounds of dry thrust, 5,400 pounds with water injection, maximum speed, 970 km per hour at sea level. Range, 2,052 km, service ceiling, 48,000 feet. Some T-33s retained 2 machine guns for gunnery training, and in some countries, the T-33 was even used in combat. The Cuban Air Force used them during the Bay of Pigs invasion, scoring several kills including sinking 2 transport ships. T-33s continued to fly as currency trainers, drone towing, combat and tactical simulation training, electronic countermeasures, and warfare training and test platforms right into the 1980s. The T-33 entered service in 1955 to become the first Philippine Air Force jet aircraft. The jet were used by the 5th Fighter Wing for advanced pilot training. The last of 25 T-33 trainers were retired in 1970. The F-8 Crusader is a single-engine, supersonic, carrier-based air superiority jet aircraft built by Vought for the United States Navy and United States Marine Corps. The F-8 Crusader was the first jet fighter in U.S. service to reach 1,000 miles per hour in 1956. The most innovative aspect of the design was the variable incidence wing, which pivoted by 7 degrees out of the fuselage on takeoff and landing. This allowed a greater angle of attack, increasing lift without compromising forward visibility. The armament, as specified by the Navy, consisted primarily of 4 20mm autocannons. The Crusader happened to be the last U.S. fighter designed with guns as its primary weapon. Specifications: crew, 1, length, 55 feet 11.6 inches, wingspan, 35 feet 8 inches, height, 15 feet 9.1 inches, powerplant, 1 Pratt Whitney J57 P-20A afterburning turbojet engine, with 11,400 pounds of dry thrust, 18,000 pounds with afterburner, maximum speed, Mach 1.8 or 1,974 km per hour at 36,000 feet, combat range, 730 km, armament, guns, 4 times 20 mm Colt Mk-12 cannons, 125 rounds per gun, rockets, 2 times LAU, 10 rocket pods, each with 4 times 5-inch Zuni rockets, missiles, 4 times AIM-9 Sidewinder, bombs, 4,000 pounds. Max load. In late 1977, the Philippine government purchased 35 second-hand U.S. Navy F-8HS that were stored at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Arizona. 25 of them were refurbished by Vought and the remaining 10 were used for spare parts. The Crusaders were manned by the 7th Tactical Fighter Squadron at Basa Air Base and were mostly used for intercepting Soviet bombers. The F-8H is an upgraded F-8D with strengthened airframe and landing gear, with an APQ-84 radar. A total of 89 airframes were rebuilt to this specification. But due to lack of spares and the rapid deterioration of the aircraft, the remaining F-8s were grounded in 1988 and left on an open grass field at Basa Air Base. They were finally withdrawn from service in 1991 after they were badly damaged by the Mount Pinatubo eruption, and have since been offered for sale as scrap. There are 4 F-8 airframes on display in the Philippines. The Bell UH-1 Iroquois, nicknamed Huey, is a utility military helicopter powered by a single turboshaft engine, with 2-bladed main and tail rotors. It was developed by Bell Helicopter to meet a 1952 U.S. Army requirement for a medical evacuation and utility helicopter, and first flew in 1956. The UH-1 was the first turbine-powered helicopter produced for the United States military, and more than 16,000 have been built since 1960. The Iroquois was originally designated HU-1, hence the Huey nickname, which has remained in common use, despite the official redesignation to UH-1 in 1962. The UH-1 first saw service in combat operations during the Vietnam War, with around 7,000 helicopters deployed. Specifications: UH-1H, crew, 1 to 4, capacity, 1,760 kilograms including 11 to 14 troops, or 6 stretchers and attendant, or equivalent cargo, length, 57 feet 9.7 inches with rotors, width, 9 feet 6.5 inches over the skids, height, 14 feet 5.5 inches with tail rotor turning, max takeoff weight, 4,309 kilograms, powerplant, 1, Lycoming T53L, 13 turboshaft, with 1,400 shaft horsepower, main rotor diameter, 48 feet, maximum speed, 204 kilometers per hour, range, 511 kilometers, service ceiling, 12,600 feet. The Philippine Air Force has a long history of acquiring United States Air Force assets, including the Bell UH-1 helicopter. In 2013, the Philippine Air Force was pursuing the acquisition of 21 additional UH-1H helicopters. Despite previous reports to acquire UH-1H variant, the UH-1D variant was delivered. Of the 21 UH-1D Huey helicopters agreed on the contract, only 13 were delivered and accepted before the termination of the contract due to delays in delivery. Last year, all the remaining UH-1 Huey helicopters were retired, but due to operational constraints after the Super Typhoon Odette, some of the Hueys were reactivated for humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations. The North American Aviation T-28 Trojan is a radial-engine military trainer aircraft used by the United States Air Force and United States Navy beginning in the 1950s. Besides its use as a trainer, the T-28 was successfully employed as a counterinsurgency aircraft, primarily during the Vietnam War. Specifications: crew, 2, length, 33 feet, wingspan, 40 feet 1 inch, height, 12 feet 8 inches, powerplant, 1 Wright R-1820-86 Cyclone 9-cylinder air-cooled radial engine with 1,425 horsepower, maximum speed, 552 km per hour at 10,000 feet, ferry range, 1,710 km. Service ceiling, 35,500 feet, armament, 6 hardpoints with a capacity of 1,200 pounds or 540 kilograms total. The AT-28 Trojan is known as Tora Tora in the Philippines, and it entered service in October of 1974. The Philippine Air Force's AT-28 Trojans proved its worth during the counterinsurgency campaigns against the NPA and MNLF. After serving the 15th Strike Wing as a counterinsurgency aircraft, the Trojans were retired after 19 years of battle-tested service. The ZU-23-2, also known as ZU-23, is a Soviet-towed 23mm anti-aircraft twin-barreled autocannon. ZU stands for Zenitnaya Ustanovka, meaning anti-aircraft mount. The ZU-23-2 was developed in the late 1950s. It was designed to engage low-flying targets at a range of 2.5 kilometers as well as armored vehicles at a range of 2 kilometers, and for direct defense of troops and strategic locations against air assault usually conducted by helicopters and low-flying airplanes. The 105mm M101 Howitzer is an artillery piece developed and used by the United States. It was the standard U.S. light field howitzer in World War II and saw action in both the European and Pacific theaters and during the Korean War. Entering production in 1941, it quickly gained a reputation for accuracy and a powerful punch. The M101A1 fires 105mm high explosive, semi-fixed ammunition and has a range of 11,270 meters, making it suitable for supporting infantry. All of these qualities of the weapon, along with its widespread production, led to its adoption by many countries after the war. Several M101 howitzers are still in use with the armed forces of the Philippines and is normally used to battle rebels in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. It was also used in direct fire against Islamic militants during the Battle of Marawi. It is now being supplemented by the Soltam M71.